Welcome to the New Favorite Things podcast, episode 43. And today we're going to talk about an assessment tool called Quizizz. And Quizizz is my favorite of the gamified assessment tools. You've got Bookit, Quizizz, Kahoot, Gimkit, but I think that Quizizz has the best reporting features, which at the root of assessment, we want to try to figure out what our students do and do not understand. And I think that Quizizz has the best balance of fun and motivation and teacher feedback. So when you go to quizizz.com, we're going to click on login. We're going to log in with Google. And then you're going to see an explore feature. Now, here's the thing about Quizizz. If I were to go in here and search for figurative language, I'm going to see a whole bunch of these different quizzes that have been created by other teachers. Now, if I were to click on one of these, I can come in here and copy and edit, and I have my own copy of this figurative language quiz. Now, some of these quizzes are going to be locked so that you would have to upgrade to super, but you will have quizzes that are in the explore feature where you can go in and you can make a copy of this teacher's quiz. You can also go in and you can create your own copy. So if I were to come into Quizizz and create a new quiz, I'm going to name the quiz example. I can add multiple choice, checkbox, fill in the blank, poll, open-ended, or slide questions. So let's just start with a multiple choice question. I'm going to say, what is the airspeed velocity of an unladen swallow? And then the first answer could be African or European. And I'm going to select the correct answer. Now, you also have some different options here. I can go in and I can add an image. So if I have an image or if I have the link to an image, I can do that. There are also options that if you want to upgrade to super, you can embed audio. So if you're doing things like a sight word activity with your students, you can put in the audio. Your students can listen to you say a word, and then they can pick from a list of words. You can also do a YouTube video embedded in these as well. And then over here, you can add images to be the answer options. And again, all you would need is to click and drag the image or just put in the answer link. You can also, if you upgrade to super, put in that feedback for students. So if they get an answer wrong, they'll have that immediate information to know what the correct answer would have been. You can put on here how many seconds each question is going to be allowed for students to respond to, and then make that the default for all of the questions. I'm going to click save. And now I'm going to add in a checkbox. I'm going to say, check the best superheroes, all that apply. And then you can select multiple question or multiple answer choices here. And it's the same options. You can put in images, you can put in an allotted amount of time. You can also do this with fill in the blank questions, where you can have a correct answer option. It would have to match exactly, or if you upgrade to super, it would be if it contains that information. You can have multiple of these options in there. So if you're doing a spelling test, maybe you want to have the exact answer, but maybe if you're doing an exam that might be more academic vocabulary where students might not quite spell the answer correctly, I can put in multiple spellings of that answer. Click save. So when I'm done with my quiz and I'm ready for my students to be able to take this quiz, I'm going to come up here to publish. I'm going to click, I have to put in a grade level, click save. And now I can either start a live quiz or I can assign it as homework. When I assign it as homework, I can assign directly to a class where I can incorporate my Google Classrooms in here. If I click on Manage Classes, I can go in and I can sync my Google Classrooms. Save it. So now I've got a new class that I pulled in from my Google Classroom, and now I can share those Quizizz links to that Google Classroom directly. Let me go back to my library. Here's my example. So if I start a live quiz, I can do it at my own pace or the classic version where students are trying to accumulate as many points as possible. There's a bunch of different options here that you can look through in terms of like, do you want the answers shuffled? Do you want the questions shuffled? Do you want memes to show afterwards? I'm going to click continue. Now students are going to go to joinmyquiz.com and enter in the code 166647. I can share that link to them directly inside of Google Classroom or through my learning management system that is different. And then I'll have my student participants join down here at the bottom. When I click start, it's going to go ahead and put all of those students into the question database, and they'll be able to answer the same questions over and over again until they've achieved student mastery. Now, the reason I say I like Quizizz over other gamified assessment tools is I love the reporting features inside of Quizizz. So when I go and I look at my reports, I can see the class's accuracy. So here is a G Suite Toolbox one that we completed at a professional development. And I can go in and I can see every single person that participated and what their accuracy was. I can come in here and I can see how many times they attempted each of these questions, how many times they got each of these questions incorrect. But I can also go in and I can see class trends. So I can go through and I can look at it by the question basis. So I can see some questions that I did really, really well teaching. So let me do it by accuracy. So I've got some questions that I need to clearly go back and I need to reteach because my students just were not getting the correct answer. I can see the overview where I'm looking at each student individually. And then you can even go in and you can tag questions as being under a certain topic. So if you're doing this for things like a standardized test or an end of year test, you can go through and you can tag questions by the TEAC or the learning objective. And then you can go through and you can see, okay, itemized breakdown. What does it look like? How do my students assess on biomolecules compared to evidence of evolution? So I hope that this was helpful. Be sure to follow at GISD Tech 3 on Twitter and at Coach Polano on Twitter, and we'll see you next time.